Hi, I'm KB.
So, last week you would have caught my top 16 Shadow of the Colossus battles, to which I discussed at the very start the 8 unused Colossi in the video game. Originally there were 48 Colossi planned for the game, but knowing that not all of them could be jotted in, they were rounded down to 24 and eventually 16. There were mixes of different unused Colossi. There were ones that actually survived the final version of the game, some are discarded Colossi that were cut from the game entirely, and there are some cut for reasons unknown. So, without any further delays, let's roll on with the 8 Colossi that we need to go over, because those are the only ones we have information on. The Devil, or Phoenix as fans like to call it, resembled a gargoyle and was among one of the smallest Colossi to boot, as it looked to stand at about 20 or so feet, except in the concept art when it looks about 10 feet. It seemed like the kind of Colossus to scout for its foe and then jab at it from all corners, as it was described to be fierce and kind of like a flying Big Daddy double stacked. The one way to defeat it was to taunt it with your bow while hiding in the grass and jumping on its back when its back is turned. The battle would have taken place by the edge of the cliff within some ruins. It's not to know how fast this Colossi would be. Judging by its size, it would be quite speedy. Not to mention, with velocity like that along with trying to hide, it might have made it hard to even do that. Its wings would grant it flight, so flying over you would be an option while in the grass, and it would be a long way from home. Home being the Colossus, and it doesn't look like aggro would be needed for the fight, so that enables Wanda's amazing running skills. Overall, I think this might have been quite an annoying boss. Imagine how much this thing would shake, along with falling off and dealing with the damage taken before hiding again. Not really one for my tastes. Now, a Griffon for a boss would have brought a whole lot of magic to the Cursed Land, along with his fan named Chaos. However, one speculation suggests that it was easy to fall off this boss, as you had to make use of its weakness to fire just like Celosia. Okay, at least this one has more exposed fur, so it's fine. Apparently its joints acted like obstacles and needed to be withdrawn. So in other words, it needed a fall, I think, which adding fuel to the fire being its reason of absence. This thing might have been very fast moving. This is highly evident by its size. It may look bigger than Kuramori or any Colossi smaller than that, but not as big as many other Colossi, so a lot of weight must have been taken off it. So if you were on this thing's back, while trying to keep your stamina, you'd just fly off while this thing would have the most vicious shakes imaginable. At least Basaran had a big ass shell, so if you fell, chances are you'd stay on. Barely. It's supposedly located on I-7 on the map due to the presence of the mountain wall. So really it looks cool, but I know my DualShock will tire out just facing this thing. With no fan names, the most peculiar Colossus that you would hope to find, and while you also expect it to be quite small, but look at this! Wanda is like a little dot on this orangutan. This is one of the 2 prototype Colossi that were unused, and the way to beat it is quite interesting. It hung from the ceiling, and you defeat it by dropping it to the floor. It suggested that the monkey was fought in a closed environment, in a sort of cave-styled area, and would hang on to stalactites, to which you would attack by either dropping onto you or letting the same stalactites fall on you. There could also be the possibility that Wanda had to shoot the stalactites to make the beast fall. There are sketches pointing to how it might have hung on with 4 limbs as opposed to 2, as well as possessing longer legs so that it looks less like a stumpy pirate and more like a gorilla. So now there's the complete opposite of being afraid of water. Not afraid of water. Well, kind of. It's having a body filled with fire. It's referred to by fans as Adar Flam, which is sort of Welsh for flamebirds. Just add another F on the start of Flam and you'll be alright. Told you I was special. And although it's called Phoenix, it does resemble an ostrich a lot more, with bigger wings and T-Rex feet and a long-ass neck. So Avion retains that spot of still retaining a Phoenix character-like specialty. Although I'm not sure whether or not Avion is afraid of fire. I'm sure they all are. So basically, while it has this body of fire, using aggro, who is vital for this fight, drive the bird into a lake to put it out, and climb its body. Despite having a long neck, it was supposedly only 50 to 60 feet tall, which is quite strange and was apparently removed due to being overpowered and requiring a large arena to fight it in, which if on the PS3 instead would have probably been handled a lot better. Entering a lizard bird that highly resembles Avion because it's a bird of prey. nothing more or less vague and is referred to as Avis by fans. Its wings were a bit more leathery and bat-like than Avion's, and was supposedly a counterpart Avion, which was preferred to be the bird with the long neck. It was like Phalanx also because you had to shoot it down while riding on aggro. However, it was cancelled because it resembled the battles with Phalanx on Avion. I would never have guessed. Yes, this Colossus is what is commonly referred to as Blackbird, as seen here in this beta gameplay demo. Sirius, which doesn't have a fan name either, is the second Colossus that was unused in the game, right next to Monkey. It would have been the third version of Celosia and Zenobia, except it wasn't a kitten, but instead a wild boar, and Wanda would have shown Robert Baratheon how it's done. Straight off the bat, the way to defeat it wasn't working out. Vague reasoning as to why it wasn't included in the game, but there we go. However, the way to defeat it was to make it get stuck in this rock monument while it chases you. That sounds really easy. So, while its weak spot was always exposed, it didn't really stop. So it must have been more relentless than Celosia and Zenobia. It might have been a lot faster too, due to the lack of armor it has. You can still find the monument at location G7 on the map. I may like spiders, but I just hate the way the Harvestman looks. Such an odd looking thing, and I hate it because I'm a bully, and bullies hate what they don't understand, with little thought. Sorry, just a little ironic bully rant. So referred to as Abirth by fans, which is Welsh for sacrifice. I'm on a roll today. This Colossus was nearly completed, but was scrapped apparently because the battle was too difficult and it had an attack which could insta-kill. Or, you know, you could minimize the damage for us. So you had to lead it from water to land and then slash its legs while on horseback with the swipe attack, which can be seen in the demo run of the game. And you can also do it in your own time. This method of attack was also deemed too hard to pull off. Quite so, can you imagine the camera problems? And probably the most frightening Colossus here, Worm, aka Onan, which is possibly a tribute to the snake god from The Lair of the White Worm. That blooming section which looks like its mouth was its weak point, but that's all we really know about it. From the sketches compared to its size compared to Wanda, it seems to be a highly iceberg type Colossus, having a lot more of its body mass buried under the earth where Wanda is standing a few feet away from. The rest we know about it is that it was possibly removed for being too powerful as well as the huge arena it required to dodge its attacks. Okay, we have PS4 now! Wakey wakey, Last Guardian! That's if there's big monsters in it! Alright, see you in the year 2020! So that's all the information we have about the Unused Colossi. I hope you enjoyed this video and there'll be more to come. Be sure to follow my other channel, Facebook, Tumblr, Twitter. Thank you, and lights out. You know, I've used Talonflame quite a bit now in the Battle Mason in Killude City, I don't know how to pronounce it. And it's pretty much got me to win 26 times in a row in Super Singles.